Hello everyone, welcome to screencast SC10020. In today's screencast, we are going to be talking about bridging policies. Bridging policies essentially define how VLANs can be extended over the network. Let's get started. So what is a bridging policy? A bridging policy defines how packets are bridged by an RFS and AP. It defines which VLANs are extended to the edge. So for example, if the admin wishes all the guest traffic to be tunneled back to a central location, that particular guest VLAN can be defined under the bridging policy. It gives the admin the capability to enable or disable local bridging. Most retail customers, for example, do not like all the traffic locally bridged by an AP. They would prefer everything coming back to a central location, and this can be configured through a bridging policy. Finally, the bridging policy gives the admin the capability to define the RFS and AP's mode of operation from the packet switching perspective. In screencast SC10000, we created and configured 3 VLANs. In today's screencast, we are going to define how these VLANs are extended over the network. I have loaded the configuration file from screencast SC10000. We will now edit the default bridging policy to ensure that VLAN 7 and VLAN 8 are extended over the network, and we'll also make sure that local bridging is enabled on the access point. The login credentials to the RFS 7000 using our previous config is username as admin and password is set to symbol. Now to create a new bridging policy or to edit an existing bridging policy, we have to navigate to configuration, go to profiles, click on bridging policy, and that's where our bridging policy is defined. We are just going to edit the default bridging policy, so let's edit that. As you can see, there are no extended VLANs defined here. In our examples, VLAN 7 and VLAN 8 are supposed to be extended over the network from the RFS switch to the edge, and VLAN 9 is supposed to be locally bridged. Since the wireless to wired bridging is checked, it essentially means that all the packets for VLAN 9 would be routed locally, since VLAN 9 has been configured on every single access point. So let's click OK, exit from here, commit our changes, and save it. As seen, our default bridging policy now has VLAN 7 and 8 as extended. We got to make sure that this bridging policy is mapped to both the RFS 7000 and all the APs. For the RFS 7000, we will just navigate to devices, highlight our device, which is a 7000, click on edit, navigate to general, and as you can see here, the bridging policy is mapped to default. If we would have created our own bridging policy, that would have shown up here in the drop down box. To check whether the APs would get this bridging policy, let's navigate to profiles. Let's click on AP 7131s, which is our default profile, and again the bridging policy is mapped to default. Hence, the AP and the RF switch know that VLAN 7 and VLAN 8 are supposed to be extended over the network to the edge, and VLAN 9 is supposed to be locally bridged. The configuration file for today's screencast can be downloaded from the link seen on your screen. You should now be able to extend your VLANs to the edge. Thank you for watching.